What's up, YouTube? It's me, the Blue Ninja, and I'm here from the Pop Culture Canon. So, long time coming, but I've been getting so frustrated, so tired of this one particular person on the internet. And of course, if you can see the title, you know who exactly I'm talking about. Grace Randolph. Now, I saw Grace Randolph years ago, like I'm sure a lot of you guys. She stood out as pretty much just a blonde-haired, I don't know if she had blue eyes, but just a fairly good-looking woman who was talking about comic book movies in the space of comic books, nerd culture. That's will get you a lot of attention, right? And there's just nothing wrong with that, especially if you really have a love for these things. You have an interest in comic books and stuff. But what has been really getting on my nerves a lot is all of her takes. She has been complaining so much about the Avengers Doomsday cast, who we already have had confirmed for it. And you might have already heard one of her big complaints about the cast is that there are a lack of women.
I thought maybe they cut somebody off. I was like, is there a woman at the end of this? And I was like, nope, this is it. And I was like, oh.
All these complaints, and it's just really getting frustrated because if you really go back and look at the 5 years that we've had of the MCU, the past 5 years since Endgame until now, actually it's 2006, so actually we're going into the 7th year since Endgame came out. A lot of the people that she's even wanting to come into the cast are people who have been a part of failed projects, and that is freaking frustrating. Because not that the characters themselves, the female characters themselves, are a problem. It's been the writing, but to want them to come back, it just blows my mind based on the fact that we haven't had any good interpretations of them yet. Anyways, let's take a look at actually what came out recently, the teaser trailer for, the X-Men teaser trailer for Doomsday. And let's just hear her opinions on it because it just blows my mind. It's freaking frustrating. All right, so let's listen to Grace Randolph's take on it.
It's just really phenomenal storytelling. All right, so let's take a look at the confirmed cast, though. So as you can see, X2 had a pretty big cast, but they've really pared it down for X-Men for the Avengers Doomsday. And there's only one female. Okay, so we'll talk about that in a second. But you can see,
we'll talk about it now.
So they added, Gambit from Deadpool and Wolverine, who was very popular.
Good idea. Add someone who's very popular.
They've got Beast because he's a core X-Men, et cetera, et cetera. But yeah, I mean, it's crazy. I know that some people were like all these right-wing channels were like, oh, Grace says there should be more women. Yes, there should. If you don't understand why there should be more women on the X-Men, you don't understand the X-Men.
This is the thing. Let's instead of saying should, let's say could. Could there be more women on this team announced for the X-Men team? Yes, of course. People want Halle Berry, for sure. They want Storm. They want Jean Grey, I forget her name, Fanka Johnson. But from the reports, and even not just a report, from Fanka Johnson said that she didn't want to go back if it wasn't going to be something that she felt was pretty much worth it. If it wasn't going to be like, she don't want to go back for a cameo. So she said that she didn't want to come back. She also she did say that they might not have asked her to come back, but that could be a lie. Who knows? And she could also be lying and saying that she is going to be in the movie. But irrespective of what it is, she already said that she wouldn't have an interest in coming back. So we already lost one. And from the reports, I think concerning Halle Berry, I believe Halle Berry was mentioned to not want to come back because there wasn't enough money. So it's not like they didn't try to get them. At least they didn't. It's not like they didn't try to get Storm. Who knows? Maybe she could be in it. It's just they're hiding it really well because they're leaking things. But I don't like should. Should is the problem. They could be in there. They could, and we would want them to be in it because they were part of the original cast more than Gambit was. But they're not. So let's roll with it and see what type of story we have.
The X-Men certainly have their male fans, but just like with Batman and X-Men, because they have such strong female lineups with supporting characters, villains and heroes, they have the biggest female and LGBT fandoms.
Stop. No one first of all, Batman sells comic books. Catwoman does not sell Batman comic books. Batgirl does not sell Batman comic books, nor does Batwoman, nor does oh my god, I'm not Ra's al Ghul's daughter, Talia Ghul. They do not sell comic books. I said Batgirl, Barbara Gordon does not sell Batman comic books. The people who are Batman fans are fans because of the Batman story. I wouldn't even say Robin sells Batman comic books. They like him, and they do bring people in. I'm not going to say that Batgirl and Batwoman and Catwoman and Harley Quinn, they haven't gotten more females' interest, but they're not the breadwinners of that not franchise, of that it's not even industry of that comic book realm. They're not the breadwinner. They don't bring in the money. Batman brings in the money. So this is a stupid take in my opinion. And first of all, we're not just. And first of all, she does the same stupid thing everyone else does. I mean, Grace, which she says right wing channels. We're not making this political. I'm not right wing. I like good stories. I like good movies, comic book or not. And I agree with those quote unquote channels. I have the same idea about what Grace has said. You're pushing gender and the desire to see someone of a particular gender in a role, as if that's going to make the movie better. We've seen over the past few years of Marvel, it doesn't help. It doesn't help unless you have a good story. Stupid.
Really love these two. Again, Batman and X-Men is what got me into comics. Now, I'm not going to say you should call them X-Women, although I thought the line was fine because I thought that it made sense. I thought that, especially in the context where Mystique, Jennifer Lawrence's Mystique, felt they weren't getting enough thanks for all that they were doing.
The line would have worked if we weren't already in the middle of the gender politics war. It might have worked. It could have worked in the early 2000s X-Men movies, if anything. It could have worked in X-Men 3, sorry. It could have worked, Last Stand. But not today. We don't need those kind of lines today because they pull out vitriol. They pull out annoyance of the people who are watching these movies.
I mean, I wouldn't have put that line in the movie, but because I knew it would be really annoying to some people.
Oh, yeah.
But I mean...
So don't do it.
Yeah, the women are the most powerful in the X-Men. It's a really big deal. And they're there for everybody, for straight men as well. Because I saw some of you say people like cheesecake. That's right, Medav. Cheesecake sells. And the female X-Men are not only very powerful and cool and complex characters, but they're super hot. And they
Stop that there. What you're saying, Grace, is correct. They are very strong. Wanda, Scarlet Witch, very strong. Storm, Omega Level, strong. Jean Grey, strong. Not disagreeing with you. And in the comic books, yes, they are very sexy. But we already know that based on how things have gone recently, they've been, for lack of a better word, uglifying the female characters. The male characters still hot, still gripped, cut up, nipples out, male nipples out, bam, 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 moving those chests around, Johnny Bravo, doing all that stuff. But the female characters, no, focus on their, actually, they try to tell us to focus on the character. They don't really have any characters. It's like, oh, focus on how bad they are. Focus on how much of a boss they are. For the male viewers, they're not that attractive anymore. Scarlett Johansson, she was really attractive. And did they maybe over-sexualize her when she was Black Widow? Yeah, you can have an argument for that. 100%, that's fine. Also, considering the fact that the majority of the MCU fans, especially the hardcore fans, are male and like seeing attractive women, as well as even women like seeing attractive women, then it made sense that they would lean a little bit on the sexy side of Scarlett Johansson. And for example, I love Florence Pugh. She's one of my celebrity crushes. I think she's really, really cute. I love her in Black Widow, I was trying to figure out who I like more, Scarlett Johansson's character or Florence Pugh, Elena, in terms of attractiveness. But is she as sexy as Black Widow? Not really, because they're not playing her like that. Black Widow was able to pull off sexy and fierce and strong. They're not really trying to do that with Elena, and that's, in all honesty, is going to make her a little bit less interesting to people who, like aesthetics. And there's nothing wrong with selling a movie or having considering aesthetics when you're filming a movie.
I'll have awesome skin tight costumes on. I mean,
they do it for Thor.
It's a big deal. It's a really big deal. And so it's bizarre not to have more female characters.
They're not going to dress them sexy. They all have skin tight costumes on, but are they really going to have them all bodacious like Marvel Rivals? They're not going to do it. So stupid.
I mean, it just shows like a complete misunderstanding of the X-Men.
You misunderstand.
So it's frustrating.
The current market and the current
now
audience.
Mystique will be there, so that's something to be exciting about. I almost wish Mystique was in this trailer instead, because so far we've been all focused on guys.
We don't need Mystique in the trailer. It's a teaser trailer. It's maybe a minute long. Focus on the two main people, the biggest, at least in the movies. Well, some of the biggest icons in the movies. Professor X, Magneto. Mystique was not one of those people. She was a side character. Shoot, the fact that we got James Marsden, Cyclops there in the forefront is huge, because he got moved to a side character. If this was back in the early 2000s, Wolverine would have been here instead of Cyclops. But because people have been wanting Cyclops to finally get his due, and they gave him some respect in X-Men 97, they're doing the same thing here, and they're putting him in the forefront.
Teasers. It's been guys, right? Steve Rogers, Thor, now
Good.
Cyclops,
Good.
right?
Good. Sell it on.
It would have been nice to have Mystique maybe get front and center here, because people are super.
Sell this on the most popular characters. That's what you do. Sell the movie on the most popular characters, the people that are going to get the characters that are going to get audiences in their seats. This woman just goes on and goes on and goes on. It's like she doesn't know how the current audience is. She doesn't think the complaints are valid. Everything is, we need more women. We need more gay representation. We have that in Wicked. The gays have Wicked. The women have Wicked and Barbie, and the gays have that. The straight males, the majority of straight males, guess what we have? We have Marvel. Is there overlap? Yes, there is overlap. There is, of course, overlap. But that doesn't mean that we need to now put half and half of women and gay characters in there to balance out the men. There wasn't a half and half cast for Barbie, was there? Maybe we should have protested for that. Okay. Anyways, I'm done. We're done. That's enough time spent on someone who doesn't want Marvel, doesn't want the MCU to succeed. We don't have time for this anymore.